Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears here, and I'm back again today making two Valentine's Day cards using some of the new products from the Pretty Pink Posh January release. I want to start off by taking a look at the products I'll be using for my cards today, starting with the Pretty Pink Posh Heart Cover Plate. This cover plate is the size of an A2 size card, 4¼ by 5½ inches. And it has 6 hearts on the cover plate that you can either cut out of the cardstock or you can pop in the beautiful patterns that you see there on the hearts. And you'll see how this comes together when I make my two cards. I'll also be using the Valentine words stencil. This is a 6x6 stencil and it has the words "Be Mine," "Love," "XOXO," "Hugs and Kisses," "I love you." And you can use that to create a really pretty pattern on your card front, or you can just use the individual words on your cards, which is how I plan to use this stencil today. For my sentiments, I'll be bringing in the Be Mine shadow die, and I'll also be bringing in the Decorative Hearts coordinating dies, and I'll be using the XOXO die in this set. So for my first card, I'm going to be making a background using some Distress Oxide inks, and I'm going to do a lot of ink blending here with 5 different color inks. And I'm starting out with my lightest ink on the top of my cardstock. And with each color ink, I'll go a little bit darker in color. So at the very top, I use the Spun Sugar Distress Oxide ink, which is my lightest pink. Then I moved into the Kitsch Flamingo, which is a little bit darker than the Spun Sugar. I'm going to add some more Spun Sugar to the top just to blend that a little bit better in with the Kitsch Flamingo. And then next I'm going to come in with a darker pink ink. This is the Picked Raspberry. Now I'm inking all of this up on a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock. That's the cardstock that I love to use when ink blending. I think that cardstock is so smooth and it just blends so nice. And also my card panel is 4¼ by 5½ inches, and you can see that I'm using the 5½ inch side to do my ink blending. Now I'm bringing in some red ink and I'm using the Candied Apple Distress Oxide ink. Now I'm just going to come back into the Picked Raspberry and blend that a little bit better with that Candied Apple. And then for my very last color, I'm using the Festive Berries. And I'll just blend that at the very bottom. And then if I feel like any of the other inks need a little bit of a better blend, I will come in with that color and just blend that a little bit better to make it a little bit more smooth. I'll set that panel aside, and in the meantime, I die cut the heart cover plate out of white cardstock. You can see that it cuts out a panel with the hearts cut out, and there's some beautiful stitching all along that rectangle and in the hearts, but it also cuts out the individual hearts with different patterns on those hearts. And you can see all of those beautiful stitching lines. There's diagonal lines that are stitched, there's dots. This one has little hearts cut out of the bigger heart. There's also a heart that has little dies inside, like a bow, there's a flower. So you can actually use your wire cutters and cut that out of the heart, and then you can use these dies separately. And if you cut that away from the cover plate, you would actually then be able to die cut your cover plate with a solid heart in that space. So you could just cut that away, and then when you die cut your cover plate, it would cut out a solid heart. Next, I'm going to take the white piece of cardstock that I cut from the heart cover plate die, and I'm just placing it over my ink blended panel so that I can see where the heart openings are, and then I'm using my stencil to place some of those words over those heart openings because I'm going to stencil those words into the heart. So I'm just using some mint tape and masking around the word that I want to ink into the heart opening, just so that I can be sure that I don't accidentally ink some of the words next to it. This one says "I love you," And I'm using the picked raspberry ink to ink the words I love you right into the opening of that heart. And you can see I did the first two like that as well. So now I'm going to move on to the red hearts at the bottom. So the first heart is going to have the word hugs. So I just placed that stencil over top of the red heart in that second row, and I masked all of the words around it. And now I'm going to use the Candied Apple ink and ink the word hugs right into that opening. And I'm going to do the other two just the same way. So I'll have the word I love you in the center heart, and then I'll add the word love in the third red heart. And I'm also using my Waffle Flower 1 Plus shader brush really to get into this small area of the stencil. I don't need a very large brush for this, just a very small brush does the job. So I do want to let you know that the cards that I'm making today, they are part of a Pretty Pink Posh Instagram hop, where if you hop along the Instagram hop, you have a chance to win a gift certificate to the Pretty Pink Posh store just by leaving comments on all of the designers' posts that are participating in the hop. And if you want to follow along in the Instagram hop, you can head over to my Instagram page at Lisa Mears Designs and find the post that contains these cards. And in the description of my post, I will have all of the designers that are participating in the hop. So next I'm adding some foam tape just along the outside edges of the white cardstock that I cut from the cover plate die. I also added a piece of foam tape along the center between the top and bottom row just for stability and support when I add this to my ink blended background. Now, if you wanted to make this a shaker card, you can totally do that by just adding some acetate to the back of that background die. After adding the acetate, you can then add the foam like I did in this video. And then you would add your shaker pieces and then add the white cardstock to the ink blended cardstock to seal those shaker pieces in. But I chose to go the simple way today and not make mine a shaker card. Instead, I just wanted to add dimension to the white background die so that it's popped up a little bit on that ink blended background. And now I'm adding the Be Mine shadow die to the center of the card. I did die cut the Be Mine out of some gold mirror cardstock, and I'm just adding it there to the center. I'm bringing in some of the Pretty Pink Posh Valentine Hearts mix. This is also a new confetti mix in the January release, and I'm adding some of the hearts to the front of the card. So here I'm just placing some of the red ones on the bottom and adding some of the pink ones on the top where the pink ink blended hearts are, and then I'll go ahead and glue those down. And then I will add that panel to an A2 size white card base. And that's going to complete my first card. For my second card, I'm going to be using the same heart cover plate die, and this time I'm going to die cut those hearts out of some pink and red metallic cardstock. So I just cut the pink and red metallic cardstock out of small squares, and I'm placing them over top of each of the 6 hearts on that panel die. I'm just going to use some mint tape to tape them down. Since I didn't use my wire cutters to cut out those center dies in that top heart, I'm not going to die cut that one. Instead, after I die cut these 5, I'll go back and take that last piece of pink cardstock and I'll die cut another one of the hearts with the patterns. So I'm just going to add that pink cardstock to that very first heart in the first row and die cut that, and it'll give me another heart with the diagonal stitched lines. Now I am going to use my pickup tool just to use the poker side of that tool and get those small little dots out of the heart, and I'll do the same thing with the red heart that has the hearts in it. Now the one with the hearts, this one here, I am going to save those hearts because I'm going to use them on my card at the end. So I did die cut another piece of the white cardstock with the heart cover plate, and I'm going to use glue to apply to the back and add that directly to a A2 size white card base. So they're just adding the white cover plate die cut onto the card base, and this one is super easy to put together. I'm not doing any ink blending, no stenciling. I'm just going to pop all of those hearts back in to all of those heart openings. So I'm going to glue each one of those hearts into the heart openings. Now you can die cut these with any color cardstock that you want. I'm just using the pink and the red. You can have each heart a different color, or you can even have all hearts the same color. But I love this die because it is such an easy way to make a quick card. You can use this for Valentine's Day, you can use this for anniversary, you can use this for a wedding card. Any time you want to send a note of love, you can use this cover plate. For my sentiment, I'm using the XOXO sentiment, and I die cut it out of some gold mirror cardstock and adding it to the center of the card. Next, I'm going to take those small red hearts that came out of the larger red heart, and I'm going to add them to the front of the card. So that will complete my cards today using the heart cover plate die and some other products from the new Pretty Pink Posh release. If you're interested in finding out more about any of the products I used on my cards today, I will have all of the products listed in the description box of this YouTube video and on my blog. And I always appreciate when you use my affiliate links because it does help support me and this YouTube channel. As always, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up button. And if you like videos like this and want to see more, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.